Alright guys, I'm going to do my best to salvage this lesson. So I'm going to do my own voiceover for my video as best I can. I apologize, I know this really kind of stinks. Not sure why the sound didn't work, but we're going to do our best. Here we go. Okay, so we're starting with the unit circle, and I'm going to do my best to figure out what I was thinking as I was making this video. So we start with a circle with a radius of 1. So in a minute my hand is going to come on the screen, and I'm going to talk about the assumption that we have a radius of 1. The formula for the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. Okay, so if you're going all the way around the circle, the measurement is 2 times pi times r. Or in this case, since our radius is 1, it's 2 times pi times the radius, which is 2 times pi. Okay? So to go all the way around the circle, it's a distance of 2 pi if you have a radius of 1. So we're going to start, and I believe I went all the way around. Okay, so that was just 2 pi right there. Now, if we cut the circle into quarters, okay, we're also talking degrees and we're talking radians. So if we went 360 degrees, that's the full way around. 180 degrees is a rotation of pi radians. Half of that, 90 degrees, is pi over 2 because the whole thing is 2 pi. So 3/4 of the way around is 3/4 of 2 pi, which is 3 pi over 2. Each quarter is half a pi. And then back to the beginning, we're at 2 pi. And then I'm over-explaining more things. Alright, so now we're going to talk about the unit circle. And the first thing you need to do is you need to divide the circle into 12 sections. And each section, since 360 divided by 12 is 30, would be 30 degrees. And these sections are going to create 30, 60, 90 degree triangles. The hypotenuse of the triangle is always the radius, or 1 unit. So for all those triangles, and in a hot second I'm going to forget how to draw this, and I drew it wrong. Whoops. So I'm just showing you guys what not to do here. Okay, I dropped it the wrong way. There's the right way. And then I'm going to get my brain back, and I'm going to realize in a minute how I drew that the wrong way, but I won't have an eraser to do it. Okay. Awesome. So ignore that line right there. Oh, that's weird. I'm like touching my own hand. Okay. Okay. So there we go. There. Figured out what I was doing. Woohoo. Okay. So what I just created was 30, 60, 90 degree triangles. 'Cause since each of those little sections, this part right here is 30 degrees. And I'm just talking about how you can go all the way around making those triangles. And each of those is pi over 6 radians. Since it's 2 pi all the way around divided by 12 sections, it's pi over 6 radians. A radian is a measure of rotation. There I go, talking about rotation. Okay. Whew. Here I'm labeling 30, 60, 90. Alright, so you just keep adding 30 every time. Make sure you end up with 360 at the end, and that your degrees match mine. Alright. You can also think of those as pi over 6. So now I'm going to go around and label them as pi over 6, each of them. So I'm going up by pi over 6 each time. So this next one is 2 pi over 6, which simplifies to pi over 3. This is 3 pi over 6, also the same thing as pi over 2. 120 degrees is 4 pi over 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 pi over 6 simplifies to 2 pi over 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pi over 6 by 150 degrees. Six pi over 6, or just pi. Okay. And then you just keep going. 7 pi over 6. 8 pi over 6. 4 pi over 3 is what it simplifies to. 3/2 pi. 9 pi over 6. No, that's not right. 10 pi over 6, which is 5 pi over 3. 11 pi over 3. And then finally 12 pi over 3, which is, 12 pi over 6, which is 2 pi. Woo! All right, you can tell I'm kind of tired at this point. All right, let's move on to if we cut it into 45-degree angles. So 8 sections, each is 45 degrees. It's going to create 45, 45, 90-degree triangles. So since the whole circle is 2 pi radians, each of those will be pi over 4 radians. So now I'm drawing my 45, 45, 90-degree triangles. The whole way around is 2 pi. Remember, it's a measure of rotation is what radians are. Starting at 0. Labeling all of my angles. 225, 270, 315. Okay. Then I'm going to, after I label my degrees, I'm going to label my radians. So this one becomes pi over 4, pi over 2, which we discovered up top, three pi over 4, pi, 5 pi over 4, 6 pi over 4, which is 3/2 pi, and 7 pi over 4, and finally we're back to 2 pi, or 0. Okay, so all we did right there was we labeled